What are the signs that someone is fake rich? They try too hard to sound like they're rich. I work with business owners as part of my work. The ones who are definitely very wealthy are usually very type A personalities. They're very direct. They get things done when they need to get done and don't have time to bullshit around with proving how rich they are. The ones who are bulleters will boast themselves up but not be able to back it up. They'll try to squeeze their big money purchases into a normal conversation. How are you? Terrible, I can't decide what Tesla I want to buy. They'll say things like, I'm making so much money I'm struggling to find things to spend it on. Then they'll try to haggle down a $10 order or ask if a $50 order can be paid in installments. When they keep exclaiming about how rich they are, bragging about all their top-notch purchases they made that day week, and flail around their money or credit cards, the majority of the time they're just broke. It's someone else's stuff. Or they're using credit cards like crazy and going deep into debt that they can't recover from. I grew up on a horse farm where my family trained show horses for some pretty wealthy people and a lot of posers. It's true that wealth whispers. The truly wealthy people in our circle were not overly flashy or loud about it. They owned top quality things, clothing, cars, horse equipment, and kept these things meticulously maintained. But I don't recall seeing a lot of overt branding logos. The biggest differentiator was their reason for being involved in the horse show scene. They truly loved riding and animals, and it was a big part of their family life, multi-generational involvement. They came to the barn, rode often, loved to groom their horses and spend time with them. The fake rich were usually in the scene for a few years at most, had a bunch of cheap yet flashy equipment, were loud, and invited their friends out to the shows to drink champagne and show them how fancy they were. They never came out to the barn, never wanted to groom the horses, or really care about them. They usually got kicked out of their barns for failure to pay training bills, lol. Name droppers that mention wealthy people they claim to know to impress others. Actual rich people have nothing to prove. It's why you generally see that people who are filthy rich and people who are poor tend to be on the same wavelength. They don't wear flashy clothes or feel the need to tell anyone how rich they are or flaunt what they've been buying. Mind you, that doesn't apply to new money, so who knows? Like for example those ducking Kardashians. Speaking of new money, some 70% of lottery winners go bankrupt eventually. They are often either not accustomed to wealth or they have been fake rich their entire lives. So cash flashing is their MO. When they talk about the rich people things they do like it's out of the ordinary and you should be impressed. I worked an internship with a kid who was actually wealthy. Like got paid every week and just left the paychecks in a drawer in his house. And would give student loans to his friends with zero interest. He would talk about taking like month-long trips in Asia, Europe and flying to random places on a whim. And other weird rich people activities like they were regular activities. We could never get upset with him because he was just talking about his weekend. It's just so happens that his weekend was spent at a party for a company he invested a bunch of money in. He's also fun to talk to because he can sniff out fake rich people like a ducking drug dog. I work in wealth management. There is a huge difference between being rich and being wealthy. Our wealthy clients are, for the most part, very lovely people. They have manners and consideration for others. They aren't flashy and they don't talk about what they own have. But you see that they own all good quality products. They are also not crazy demanding. They don't yell at you. And they don't expect something for coming downtown. If I saw any of these clients out and about, we'd have a pleasant conversation. I wouldn't be hiding in the bathroom until they leave. The rich are people that are usually making under $100,000 but want you to think that they have millions. Everything is a negotiation because they don't want to or can't pay their bills in full. They are beyond demanding. They're rude and yell at you for things you can't control, like what the Dow closed at. And they take none of your advice and then blame you for them deviating from the plan. And if they own a BMW, oof. Get ready for a shitstorm client. Not all rich people own them. Not all BMW owners are jerks. And not all jerks drive BMWs. But they are the number one car of rich jerks. The wealthy tend to dislike BMW. And don't worry. They'll let you know that they have a BMW and you'll pretend like you're impressed. Obviously I have to be nice and friendly since they're clients. When they say they have 6 private jets but they only have 4. Come on Gregory, I know you're bulleting me. The rest aren't at your uncle's house. Ducking pathetic what poor people are doing these days. Taking pictures with money to post on social media. There is an old stat from the book The Millionaire Next Door that said only 25% of $1 million homes are owned by actual millionaires. Our area is full of ordinary looking newly built houses priced at over $400,000. Blemom has fake friends like that and they love to buy Louis Vuitton and expensive stuff they don't need just to rub it in. They work in a rundown hair salon with outdated styles. I have this theory that the larger the polo icon is on their shirt, the lesser the chances are they know anything about the sport of polo. You could expand that out to large logos in general. Actually, let's just expand this out even more. They spend more time talking about what they are buying wearing than they do talking about what they are doing. When they brag about being rich, buying an expensive car, etc. For really rich people a luxury car or an expensive house is regular stuff. You won't hear them brag about it. They'll brag about other stuff. You'll see a rich guy pull up in a brand new Rolls Royce and he'll brag about how well he did in the golf game last weekend. If they ever make a comment about how they have credit card debt, I have never in my life heard someone brag about their credit card debt. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't hear you over my enormous credit card debt. If they carry a lot of cash on them to show you how rich they are. $75,000 card uses a debit card on everything. If you've got deep pockets, use swipe credit cards that come with great incentive packages. Credit card companies make money on those who don't have it. Those who have it make money off of credit card companies. Friend is working data analysis for credit card rewards programs right now. About 6% of people make money off of using their credit card. Interestingly, it seems also way less connected to wealth than I thought. As the obscenely rich have other people pay that sheet off on time, a large number of the rich who wouldn't pay someone to manage that forget to pay on time on a regular basis. Still definitely hit those without harder. At a guess I say this is due to the worse off of society not being well educated in financial management and thus not understanding about credit card not being free money. It's the cheapest thing in the damn store. Just Google their LinkedIn account and Glassdoor their salary. Then determine if they can afford the purchases with wiggle room or if they are likely paycheck to paycheck. Boom. Used to work in a trust department of major regional bank. The asshole in the Armani was in debt to his eyes. The nice old couple with old car, old house and clothes from Sears. Staggering wealth. No ego. No attitude. I met a bunch of them. When they become president and refuse to release their tax returns. Wearing a genuine Rolodex watch. Design labels everywhere and bragging about them and the restaurants you're eating at. And simultaneously mention how your credit card is maxed out. Yeah? Okay. Slight edit because typo. Truly wealthy people purchase things they like. Fake rich people buy things they think other people will like. Wearing too much gold. And talking about being rich. My wife's family is loaded, capital L, and they all drive 10-year-old cars. And live in $500,000 houses. They just don't flaunt it. Won't lie. Or theme of this thread seems to be genuinely wealthy people seem to at least partially either get or stay that way by understanding value. When I worked at the bank. The truly wealthy you would never guess it. The signs are subtle. If you look at someone and immediately think whoa they're rich, then they are most likely not. It seemed like every tool that came through in a sports car and flashy suit had a negative balance. I had to do repair on a pool in an office building. Turns out the space was the clubhouse. And not the main location of business. Everything was brand new. Including expensive and large televisions. chrome and crystal office chairs, and premium light fixtures in the ducking utility stairwell. The service techs were not allowed to sit on the furniture or stand walk on the carpet. I said to my boss that the business will go under during the next recession. No doubt. Too much was spent in the employee play area. And too extravagantly. I saw through the illusion they were trying to create. Our actual wealthy and secure customers aren't so obvious about it. Fake rich and new money are almost identical. The only difference is quantity. Both will be decked out in Gucci and Versace and likely Supreme. But fake rich will be taking photos with their mom's A4 and new money will be taking photos with their own Lamborghini. I see this a lot in my profession. They drive a luxury car that isn't too old. But they never fix anything and can't afford to trade it in when repairs are needed. Even predictable maintenance expenses and low-cost repairs are just too much for them to handle. At the first sign that their vehicle needs a common repair, they begin complaining about how it's been a lemon without any understanding of what a real lemon is in this context or how common the repair in question really is. 12-car garage but you only got 6 cars. Talking about all of the material possessions they own. Money is like sex. People that talk a lot about it don't have it. A dude at my work once hit it big on some commodities short and closed up just shy of $100,000 in a day. Rather than do anything sensible, he rented a private jet and flew about 15 people to New York City and burned through it all in a couple of days. A bunch of them had to grey dog it home. Being in a rush. I have known some rich people, but the ones who were truly wealthy never seemed to be in a rush. Another drink? Sure. Stay a couple more days? Why not? People who have to constantly work for their money can't take time on a whim. Wealthy people can do whatever the duck they want with their time. I married into money and come from an area where old money hides what it has unless you are invited into their homes. The thing is, what the new rich don't realize is that old money is very amused by their status preening, and it is true what they do value is of the best quality and is kept for years. Hello 15-year-old riding boots. Scuffed all to hell and yet my favorite pair still. Oh boy. Driving an entry-level car that can be leased with even halfway decent credit. Mercedes Volvo S60. Acura TLX. Bug Regal GS. Bug Regal Sportback. Cadillac ATS. Lexus RC. Lexuses. Etc. Wearing pseudo-designer clothes. Nothing wrong with either of these, so take these and add bragging and there you are. The wealthiest people I've ever met drive Hondas. No debt. Wear clothes that are of great quality and last long. And own a small, well-kept home. The fakest rich people I've ever met drive BMWs. Wear flashy streetwear, Supreme. Bathing ape. And still live in their parents' basement because they aren't wise with their spending. Not saying all people who still live with their parents are fake rich. But all the lavish spending on material goods could be invested in a decent living situation of their own for some people. When you go shopping with them in higher end stores, they make a point to primarily buy things with the logo prominently displayed. Flaunting it. One of my best friends has over 100 million in the bank. He drives a dented up 2004 F350. Wears American flag socks to church. And eats frozen burritos with me at my house. His family is everything and doesn't care what others think about it. Money isn't the only thing that makes him rich. The ones who try to impress him have no life. Fake rich will brag about tropical vacations. Blog brag their lives on Facebook. Always have the latest toys and gadgets. And in some cases will buy rebuilt hypercars, repaired after being totaled, to show off. Basically, they flaunt it. I've worked with both types. I was the VP of a hospital volunteer network for 2 years. When the hospital had their meeting for donors, most people were overly dressed and trying to brag. Then there was this guy in his 90s who wore sweat pants and had someone get him Burger King mid-meeting. Guess who the millionaire was? I don't know if it's a regional thing around here, but it seems most dudes in their 20s around here wear cheap navy suits, drive leased BMWs, Have the most garish golden watches. Post all of the above on Instagram weekly to flex. Like. That's most of my high school class there. I actually had a dude I went to high school say to me, "You've not been doing too well then?" Recently. Firstly, duck you for saying something like that. Secondly, I'm doing perfectly fine. I own my car. I'd successfully moved out until a few months ago. Roommate issues. Something for another post. I'm in a well-paying job and my suit probably costs more than 3 of yours. I just don't feel the need to post every ducking thing on social media. I had someone else a while back say they thought I hadn't had a girlfriend since high school. I've been in multiple healthy relationships. And a few unhealthy too. I just don't feel the need to change a little option on Facebook saying as such. And post hundreds of pictures showing how in love I am. I had a guy who moved to my school and told everyone he owned a private jet. Was promptly shut down by everyone's observations he had an iPhone 4.